I want to talk a little bit about the sort of damage control that we've seen from Donald Trump after this first debate on Monday. Some people emailed me after my analysis yesterday saying, well, David, specifically, why did Donald Trump, quote, lose the debate? Lost or won can be a little difficult to define. I mean, really, what's going to determine that is the impact on the polls. And we're not going to have post-debate polling until probably Friday, maybe not until next Monday. So what I think we can really focus in on are what are the ways in which Donald Trump did not do as well as Hillary Clinton. Obviously, Trump's knowledge of issues is far, far, far behind Hillary Clinton's. But my big reaction is, who expected anything else, right? Who expected to watch this debate and say, you know, I was just stunned by how much Donald Trump knew. We know that he doesn't know anything. So he completely bungled several areas. The question on the birth certificate stuff was an absolute disaster for Donald Trump. The questions about cybering, where he mentioned his 10-year-old kid is just so good with computers. If you're running for president and someone asks you about cyber warfare, my first instinct would not be to mention how your 10-year-old kid has computers at home. Okay, that's not what I would go towards. Mentioning that it's smart not to pay federal taxes, these are really, really disasters. So Trump gets embarrassed at the debate really badly. People who have a clue recognize this. I know low information voters and people who personally just hate Hillary Clinton probably thought Trump did an okay job, but he really, really did embarrass himself. Trump goes into damage control mode. Damage control mode is even more of a disaster than the debate performance. First, he barrels into the spin room, which normally the candidate doesn't show up at the spin room. Your surrogates show up and start spinning for you. He claims his microphone was defective. I told you about that yesterday. No evidence whatsoever that the microphone was defective. Hillary Clinton said very astutely, anyone complaining about microphones was not having a good night. I couldn't agree more. And in the spin room, he contradicts many of the things he said during the debate. During the debate, he said he was smart not to pay federal taxes. In the spin room, he denied having said it altogether. About moderator Lester Holt, in the spin room, he said, I thought Lester Holt did a good job. 6 hours later, roughly 6 hours later, early the next morning on Fox and Friends, Trump changes the story altogether and says, oh, Lester Holt gave me very unfair questions. I give him a C or a C plus. I thought he was okay. Drastic change, and it is just damage control gone awry. And the most outlandish of Trump's claims about the debate was that he said there was no sniffle. This sniffling that distracted so many viewers, Trump denied it, period, no sniffles. Let's take a look and listen to the following video. You tell me if there was sniffling here. Yeah. Why even deny it? I have no idea. That went on and on and on. What's the big picture trend here? What is it that we can learn from this and apply it to how Donald Trump would be as president? Well, number one, he has excuses for everything, right? The guy takes no accountability for his actions whatsoever. He will blame everything from the moderator to a faulty microphone and all sorts of made up ideas about as to why his performance was what it was. But more importantly, Trump is completely unconcerned and unaffected by the truth. And I think Pat was spot on in the last segment when he said that in spite of the constant lies and lack of accountability and taking responsibility, Trump still polls better on honest and trustworthiness than does Hillary Clinton. And he is definitely taking advantage of that. And the saddest part about all of this is that Donald Trump should never even have made it this far to the point where we have to do this type of analysis. That's really what I can't get past, Rachel, which is if the world made sense, and it really doesn't, someone like Donald Trump would never be on this debate stage in the first place. And these ridiculous analyses of dozens of lies that the guy told, we wouldn't have to do them because he has no place on that stage to begin with.
Right, but there's no evidence that the lying is going to stop because in his first speech post-debates, he opened in Florida by telling a lie, saying that, oh, actually, I'm actually polling better in terms of who people thought won in this debate. It's me. Granted, he did have his trusty teleprompter here. Yeah. And also his default would just be to redirect blame back to the media. Yeah, well, I'm guessing he was referring to that very, very scientifically done drudgereport.com Insta poll that showed him winning something like 5-1. I mean, here, the funny thing about some of these polls people are pointing to is even if you think Trump did really well,
The country is not going to think by an 80-20 margin that Trump won. I mean, in the best of cases, if Trump really does well, because we know how polarized our country is in terms of politics, Trump might have a 60-40 edge if he had like the best possible performance against Hillary Clinton. The fact that anybody won 80-20 to me are numbers that I would definitely question. But to put a finer point on what you said, Rachel, not only is there no evidence that Donald Trump is going to stop the lying anytime soon, we have every reason to believe that the lying and excuses and lack of taking responsibility would only continue if Donald Trump was president of the United States. So the damage control, you know how they say the cover up is often worse than the thing itself? The damage control for Trump has been even worse than the debate itself. If you disagree, I'm on Twitter at @Pakman. You can let me know. Warby Parker is offering a free 5-day home try-on to give you the opportunity to check out their glasses. I personally wear Warby Parker glasses when I'm not wearing my contact lenses, and I also started with one of these free at-home try-ons of 5 pairs of glasses. You can get your free home try-on and support the David Pakman Show at warbyparkertrial.com/TDPS. I don't really like going into glasses stores and trying on glasses while the salesperson sort of hovers over me, and I like more than 30 seconds to actually figure out whether I like the glasses. So with the Warby Parker home try-on, I was able to pick 5 pairs that I liked, put them on in the comfort of my own home, pick the one I like the most, and then Warby Parker put my prescription lenses in there for me. A lot of people don't know that the eyeglass industry is controlled by just a few big corporations that keep prices very high, like $300 for prescription glasses high, which is just insane. Warby Parker glasses start at $95. That's what mine cost. And for every pair of glasses sold, Warby Parker distributes a pair of glasses to someone in need. You can try 5 pairs and see what you like. Check out the at-home trial and support our show by going to warbyparker.com/TDPS. It costs nothing.